it should have been a video game.
I think so too. It feels, yeah, the premise is so simple enough that it would fit a video game much better, I think, than a TV show for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah. I also
because
feel like you'd maybe deliver more on the concept of this if it was a video game. Like I feel like it could be bigger and more expansive and
and it
explore
would
more of this.
also, you could let the people kind of, I mean, you can't have total free reign, like rebuild anything into anything, because I imagine making that as a game would just be impossible. But they already have the Lego game engine set up. So I imagine when you do these stories, it's a lot of just dropping assets into place. And of course, there's some work to it. I'm not trying to downplay it that much, but I played the original trilogy one way back when, and I have the Skywalker Saga one, and every, maybe once a year I put it on and just play it for like 2 weeks and just enjoy being in a goofy, carefree, no stakes kind of Star Wars scenario. And that's kind of what the show felt like to me was, why don't you play as was it Sid?
Is it Zed?
Zed, the main
Zed?
kid,
Yeah.
Dustin from Stranger Things. Why don't
Yes.
you just play as him and go through and build things, and maybe you can give it a choice, light side or dark side or good or bad, because really all the show did was 90% of the good characters were bad guys and 90% of the bad guys were good characters, and then they just mixed up a few things to shove memes in there.
Yeah, it was a very meme heavy show for sure. And yeah, and I kind of am like, I think this time around I was definitely going from it as like this is Ready Player One for Star Wars kids, pretty much. Um
I could see that. I see what you mean, where it's just kind of like a highlight of everything.
yeah, and but pretty much like what you're talking about is kind of what we would like from something like Ready Player One, which is just play with it more, not just recreate and just regurgitate a lot of the same stuff, or like you said, or internet meme regurgitation and making those manifests.
If you're getting value or entertainment out of any of my transmissions, it would mean a lot if you would join the Remnant and subscribe.
You have to compare it to the Lego movie with Emmett. That character is so interesting.
But they also made Emmett a character.
Right, exactly. But this is just like, we're just going to slap Star Wars on Emmett. Like, that's it. And it's sort of...
Yeah, but with none of the charisma.
None of the charisma.
Because
Yeah,
Emmett was the lovable idiot. But like this main character, he wasn't an idiot, which he didn't have to be an idiot for the movie to be good. But he was just nothing.
But also, it was sort of weird for them to be like, oh, he loves the stories of adventure and he loves telling them and things like that. And the show sort of sets up that his arc should be about like wanting to go out and find adventure and not like learning to love it or whatever, but it kind of gets lost, I feel like, after everything changes.
Yeah, they kind of forget all about that, and then at the end they're like, hey, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm writing my adventures. It's like, oh, right, because we said that in the beginning.
Yeah, it's so weird. And I wish they maybe had done a better job of like, he loves everything the way that it is, right, and has to like let go of it changing. I wish they had maybe focused in on that a little bit more, because I feel like him trying to redeem his brother, kind of gets lost in that, even though it could be tied back to him just trying to restore everything that it was before. But I kind
Which
of
makes
maybe
sense. He lost his whole life, and then when he had to accept it, it was kind of just like, oh, okay, well, everyone I've ever known is dead or different.
Right, and it also is weird that he's like into like the adventure stories at all. Like, it would have been more interesting, I feel like, if he had been a character who wasn't interested in Star Wars stories or adventures. He's just
he was so happy
like,
just being a farmer, basically.
yeah. So he wouldn't want to be, he would be much more of an interesting protagonist if he just was that guy, and his brother was the one who was obsessed with like the legends and stuff.
Yeah, you drag the reluctant hero into the story, it's going to be more interesting than a guy who always wanted to go on adventures. So he goes on adventures and things just kind of happen around him. And
yeah, and maybe part of turning your brother back to the light side is trying to learn to love those adventures and tell the stories like his brother did. So he's trying to bring his brother back by sharing the love. Right,
yeah,
of the
they should have also
him.
had, I think, some kind of more personal conflict between the two brothers.
Yeah.
Like maybe the one brother who ends up being the bad guy, Dev, was going to leave the planet. And he's trying to convince him to stay. Like, oh no, a nice simple life as farmers, we could do this together, this or that. To have that message of change is inevitable and life happens and you have to let go, but remember what you had. Like it was all kind of there, and then they just dropped it.
Yeah, with a little tweaking, this could be way more interesting than it is, but it is just such a safe idea for,
Yeah.
again, like, I guess you could argue a film franchise that obviously is older than the Lego movie in 2014. I bet there were probably Lego cartoons and movies like that before that went to DVD. But that movie like was sort of like kickstarted this style of filmmaking and this type of movie.
Yeah, even if there were some before, if you tell anybody like, "Oh, there's this new original Star Wars Lego movie," your frame of reference is the 2014 Lego movie.
Right, and it just is such a lackluster take on that, like on that world. That anything that you could do with that is just gone. It's just so bland.
Yeah, that's why I feel like it could have and should have been a video game.
Yeah,
because then you could have a lot of fun creating the different world, even if it was kind of, pre-set up. You would feel like you have some control over it. So the story being pretty basic would have gone by the wayside. Because like I know when I play the Lego games, I'm building the things and using the different characters to unlock the different areas, and I'm collecting the little bricks. I'm not like super involved in the retelling of the story. I don't really care about that part of it.
I'm gonna be interested with this new season if we're gonna get like watch that, or if I'm gonna watch that. I don't know if we're gonna review that, but like it's
Yeah, I think maybe not set out to review it because we're struggling to fill an hour here. I probably at this point will watch it at a point just out of curiosity. Like, does it get better? Do they figure it out? Or is it more of the same?
Yeah.
And I guess if we both like it, we can review it. Or maybe we'll just we'll tack on like a 10-minute what'd you think.
That'd probably be more fitting. I'm kind of running out of things to say about this show.
Yeah, we're really treading water here if people can't.